We're at CCW Coastal Championship Wrestling here in Coral Springs, Florida, and South Florida. And I've got, look at this. I've got a legend right in front of me. He's on the show tonight, keeps himself in great shape. Formerly the Genius, Lanny Poffo. Lanny, thank you so much for taking some time. I'm going to start right here with the exercise regimen. You just keep yourself in tremendous shape. You're wrestling, you're going strong. What is your exercise regimen these days?
Okay, I live right next to an LA Fitness, and that LA Fitness is right next to an Earth Fair. Now, Earth Fair is like the competition of Whole Foods. And I'm on a diet of greens, onions, mushrooms, beans, berries, and seeds. And thank you, Dr. Joel Furman, for saving my life and making my arteries so clean and elastic. And also, let me see, the workout is not a big deal because I'm like a Goldilocks workout. My porridge is too hot. My porridge is too cold. My porridge is just right. And my workouts are just right. I just do chest, back, shoulders, arms, legs, abs, and I do every body part every single day. Now, you're not supposed to do that, but who's going to stop me, right?
No one's going to stop you, Laney. And hey, if it works for you, it works for you, and that's been working. Laney, when you first started, what was it like growing up for you? Where did you go to high school? And were you involved in any sports in high school?
I was very big into baseball. I did amateur wrestling, and I still love to watch baseball. You know, I love your Marlins. I love the Rays. I was very excited about my Cubbies because I'm from Downers Grove, Illinois, and I'm a big fan of the Cincinnati Reds. And the thing is, no matter who wins, it's a beautiful sport. Now, a lot of times I save myself for ESPN, and they just see all the highlights. See, because not so much scratching and spitting.
Now, I'm going to talk to you about, hey, I want to do the Cubs thing then. What was that like, seeing them after, over 100 years, finally win the series? Did you have a favorite Cubs player or baseball player when you were
Ernie Banks. Ernie Banks was my favorite. But just remember, anybody can have a bad century. As a matter of fact, one of my greatest moments in baseball happened at Joe Robbie Stadium. Are you aware?
No.
Okay, listen to this. Through all of the magnificence that is Joe Robbie Stadium, the Marlins and the Dolphins' happy home, it gives me pride to introduce a man who was to baseball what Romulus and Remus were to Rome. Take 95 until you hit the Massachusetts Turnpike. Get off at Fenway Park and there you are. Where back in 1941, this man hit 406. And even now, Ted Williams has no par. America anticipated every turn at bat to watch him knock the ball to smithereens. 521 home runs are even more incredible because he gave 5 years to the Marines. The boys who wrote the sports page never did him any favors, but for Cooperstown they had to tell the truth that Theodore Samuel Williams brought a splendor to the game, reminiscent of the late George Herman Ruth. And he starts crying, and he hugs me, and he says, "If I'd have had you for a press agent, I'd have never had any problems." And I thought to myself, that was, I mean...
The great Ted Williams, that's awesome.
When I do a poem, I go for the head, the heart, or the funny bone. And this time I got all three, and it meant a lot to me.
What was that event that you were able to do that at the state?
Ted Williams was signing baseballs. So he made $25,000 that day, I made $1,000 that day. But if it would have been any more, I wouldn't have paid them.
Gangrel, good to see you, sir.
Gangrel just came in too. So, you know what? One of the all-time greats right here. I can't tell you how much I admired your gimmick.
Thank you, Lanny. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. That's awesome. You got to meet Ted Williams and do that for him and all. That's just amazing. Baseball, I know now your brother obviously was in the Cardinals organization, I think, and the Reds too and all like that. Was that some of your aspirations as well, trying to get to the minor leagues and then get to professional baseball?
It was a dream of mine to become a baseball player. He was 2 years older than me, Randy. But when we got to Sarasota, you know, he was the greatest player in Downers Grove, Illinois. Then he goes to Sarasota for the rookie league. And guess what? I saw a guy named Jerry Mumphrey. And I said to myself, not to him, honesty compels me to say that there is no comparison between these two men. Jerry Mumphrey, Tito Landrum, Doug Flynn. These guys were phenomenal. And Randy was the best player in Downers Grove, Illinois, and that's not good enough. So,
for you, playing baseball, you love the game. That's a passion for you. What do you think of just today's baseball compared to when we were younger watching baseball?
You know what I would love? If the Marlins would say, okay, we have enough, play-by-play men and we have enough color men, but maybe they could add me as a poet. And I could just write poetry for the guys. And just use me like 30 seconds every game. And it'd be good enough for me, and I'd love to do it.
The poems for you, how did that come about? Was that something even when you were younger you were writing poetry, or did that happen later on in life?
It happened in the 5th grade. I had a crush on my 5th grade teacher. It was my second day of class, and she says, Lanny, I'd like to see you after class. And I said, well, what did I do? So 3:20 came very slowly, and I walked up and said, Lanny, did you see me? And she says, Lanny, I had you write 2 papers, how I spent my summer vacation, and tell me something about yourself. And yours were just wonderful. And I was like, I don't know, Casey and the Sunshine Boys, but the baby, you ain't seen nothing yet. Yes. I said, is this the way I can get praise? I was 9 years old, and I'll tell you what, she's 76 now, we're still friends. And she, I taught my daughter to do this, and my grandson is 5 weeks old today. And if my daughter were here, she would say, I taught her to do this. Now listen to this. Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, John Quincy, Adams, Jackson, Van Buren, Harrison, Tyler, Polk, Taylor, Fillmore, Pierce, Buchanan, Lincoln, Johnson, Grant, Hayes, Garfield, Arthur, Cleveland, Harrison, Cleveland, McKinley, Roosevelt, Taft, Wilson, Harding, Coolidge, Hoover, Roosevelt, Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, Bush, Clinton, George W. Bush, Obama, Trump. There we go.
I could probably name 5. That's amazing that you're able to do all the presidents like that.
Who's on Jeopardy?
Did you ever think too about creative writing then? Even when you were after that was the thing. I mean, is that what you were teaching? Creative writing, things like that. Was that something that you wanted to do, or was it okay? I want to get into pro wrestling.
I loved creative writing. I also would like to say to all my South Florida friends, yo estudio español 2 años en la escuela de español, pero no es muy bueno gringo español.
I don't know what you said, but I know I caught the word gringo in there.
Well, the fact that you didn't pull out a cuchillo means you didn't hear me. Okay, I'm just kidding. I would have never said any malas palabras. But the thing is, I speak 11 languages. Escuchen, por favor. Santana comes from Mexico. Yo hablo más mejor. The French I speak is magnifique. They told me in Paris. My Italian's molto bene. I learned when I was 3. I speak Latin, Greek, and Russian, Hebrew, and Portuguese. I speak Swedish and Norwegian, and I'm learning Japanese. Aside from my intelligence, I'm cunning as a rat, and I shall put these attributes to use upon the mat. I remind the competition and every foe and fan, behold, the world's greatest genius, the world's smartest man. Yo soy el genio.